everyone! Welcome back to Charmed Rewind! It's the summer of Charmed! Yeah! No! We had a tie on Patreon, actually.
Oh.
It was between this episode and Size Matters. That's the one in, I think, season 4 with Robert Englund.
Okay.
We'll cover that next time. We're just going in chronological order. So the episode that we're going to be covering today is season 2, episode 1, Witch Trial. We're still in the good seasons. Yeah, just Witch Trial.
That's a dumb name for this episode.
Witch Trial. I mean, like, it's not like Abraxas was trying to put them on trial.
No.
He was just trying to kill them. So they're just talking about, like, you know, an emotional trial or just
I guess.
It's
They've had
generic.
more literal trials in the show later,
Yeah.
so yeah, not great.
I feel like even if they had called it, like, just trials, it would be pretty generic, but it would feel a little less like Witch Trial.
Yeah. Should have called it Abrax.
Abraxas. He's laughing because there's a Jesse Ventura movie named Abraxas, and he is just fucking terrible, isn't he?
Says he's been around like 10,000 years, and he couldn't find a personality. Like, just imagining that it's the Jesse Ventura Abraxas after them.
It might be pretty good if it was Jesse Ventura Abraxas in this episode.
Yeah, that would be an improvement than the generic demon thing they have.
I mean, I guess I appreciate that they're still doing prosthetics and monster effects in this.
Yeah, because it got really boring.
It would just be a guy in a black robe.
A bunch of margoyles.
A bunch of margoyles. They could only hope to be Abraxas. Just to catch people up, at this point in the story, Andy has just died. He died at the end of season 1, which was
super fresh.
It's super fresh. It was an episode that we covered, Deja Vu all over again. That's when there was Tempest, and he was rewinding time a bunch, and then they had to let Andy die.
Seems familiar, like we covered it before.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know. Just making a dumb deja vu joke.
Oh, I see. And I ruined it. Wait, let's start that again. Huh?
No.
What? All right. Well, anyway. So yeah, that's going on. Leo is gone for some reason. I forget what happened at the end of the season. I think he did something where he had to kind of walk away looking all mysterious or something. I don't know. Because they're still like, look, white lighters are weird, huh?
Oh, look at him. You can't get rid of him later until you kick him into bloody ice chunks.
So this is the premiere of season 2. They're going to be introducing some things that are going to be integral to the show later. So let's jump into it, huh?
All
right. So we open with Phoebe coming home in the middle of the night, and she's calling out to her sister witches.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Sister witches! Sister witches, are you home?" Why does she... That's so weird.
She's so stupid. I do like that at least this is the era where her stupidity's kind of acknowledged as a thing.
And it's kind of a charming stupidity rather than a selfish stupidity. Charming. But anyway, she is interrupting Piper's makeout session with a generic handsome 90s man.
A loan officer, no less.
So Piper freezes him with annoyance. Like, oh!
Just the stupid use of their powers. Like, I need to freeze him to bitch out Phoebe.
That's what she does all the time anyway.
I know.
I do like when the actor has to pretend to freeze, like he's really bad at it. Like, he's like, oh. And he also, like, he's frozen with his mouth open, like he's about to say something, like, and then in the next far shot, he just has this creepy smile on his face. Inconsistent. During this scene, Piper is wearing one of those weird, like, one-size-fits-all stretchy shirts with the spikes. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they were really tiny, and then you, like, stretch them out, and they poof out.
Okay.
They were kind of popular at the time. And, yeah, that's what she's wearing. And she is angry at Phoebe for calling out to her sister witches.
Yeah. Could you be less stupid?
But also, it's just a weird thing to say, so maybe she's also annoyed by that. Like, not only are you talking about us being witches, but, like, Who says that?
Yeah, who says
Sister
that?
Witches!
Why would you open the door yelling that?
Sister Witches, where are you?
She's like, how was I supposed to know you had a date over? It's like, well, someone could be in the house at sometimes, Phoebe.
Yeah.
You just kick the door open and start yelling that.
Yeah. But also, I don't know why Piper's having like this heavy makeout session with this guy when she knows her sisters could be home anytime.
Yeah.
Do you like nice girls or naughty girls?
She could have gone to the bedroom or something, but I guess, she wasn't intending to have sex unless the loan went through.
Yeah. Escalate because they're talking about money and loans, and she was so turned on.
I love the idea of you giving me money for sex.
Yeah, he's a banker friend. But, like, Phoebe says it's a banker friend, so apparently this is a friend that they know who's a banker. And
it's still obvious what she's doing.
Yeah, like
she
Phoebe's
says
like,
it's not what she's doing, but then later she makes it clear that was what she was doing.
Yeah, like Phoebe is like, hey, you making out with that loan guy so you can get money for that club you want to open?
I would never do that. Fast forward to later in the episode when she doesn't get the loan. Glad I didn't sleep with that guy.
Phoebe's like, no, it's okay to make out with someone to get a loan because you're overdue in the sex department. Leo's been AWOL for a couple of weeks, so I think, you're owed this.
Yeah. Got the hots for Leo, but how dare he be gone for a little bit?
They try to sort of remind us that this is a long-term love story that they've been setting up, which is it's like, oh, yeah, you didn't sleep with the banker guy because you were thinking about Leo, right?
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Yeah. No.
No.
It's just because Phoebe ruined it.
This is when Prue enters the house. She's on a phone call with Buckland's. And she's wearing a green knit tube top with what looks like attached bra straps. Like, I think they're attached the way that the tube top is kind of like moving. But like, it's so weird because they just look like bra straps.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's like attached to make you look like you're sloppy and just letting your bra hang out. She was wearing that to Buckland's at the auction house.
Professional.
Maybe she was wearing one of her little cardigans or something. Over it, so it was fine.
Yeah.
So Piper shoos her out, like,
No, get out of here before I unfreeze handsome banker man.
It's okay if everyone else is out of place, but not you.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I love how someone could be just slightly out of place, but no one ever thinks that's weird. So she unfreezes handsome banker man, and then she shoos him off, promising to meet him at the club the next day for that loan. Prue also thinks that this was a sex loan. And then Phoebe makes this face like a beaver. Did you notice this?
No.
Like, Prue is just like,
Oh, what's going on here?
and then Phoebe's next to her like, with like her face all scrunched up. I can't, do it on the podcast for you guys to notice, but just believe me, she's making this beaver face. And then Phoebe laughs, and Piper goes by her, and she gives her a stink face, and she's also making some kind of weird noise. Very strange. So this is when Piper and Prue, they're going to leave for business-related stuff. And then Phoebe's like, hey, remember that tomorrow is our 1-year anniversary of becoming witches. That's more important than work, I think. And she's like, well, I found out from this lady at the bookstore that this is the autumnal equinox, or equinox. I keep saying equinox, but... Equinox. So she's like, yeah, it's the autumnal equinox, and it's one of the most powerful Wiccan days of the year. And that lady at the bookstore is named Stevie, and I told her all about us being witches, but not like witches, like I just said that we were witchy chicks, And they're really annoyed. You would think that this Stevie person would be very important. She's not really in the end.
No, they should have had someone similar to this be important, because it makes sense for them to have no other connections who are witches.
Yeah, it felt like they were setting something up that they didn't follow through on, or that they cut some scenes out. Especially later in the episode, I noticed some stuff that seemed like things were cut out.
Mm-hmm. I like this idea that they try to explore these types of witch things to understand their powers and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's also very weird. This is Amanda Wyss, I think is how you say her name. She's the actress who plays Tina in Nightmare on Elm Street. She's pretty prolific. She is uncredited in this episode.
Weird.
Yeah, that's very weird. I don't know. I feel like maybe she was supposed to be more of a thing, maybe through the season, and they dropped it for whatever reason.
Maybe. Maybe just a Braxis gutter on the ceiling.
It may be there was a scene cut out involving her that concluded this storyline. That's what I kind of feel like. But anyway.
Just reminds you of lost opportunities with this show. Because they should have had some more side characters that mattered who were in the witch world.
Well, I mean, we get neighbor Jenny in this episode. That's the most important side character they ever had.
There's something that really goes somewhere.
They could have cut her out, but no.
No.
Well, Prue's like, I think maybe we should just leave this witch stuff alone. We've been demon-free for a month now. I'm good with us just not celebrating our anniversary. Yeah, it's over.
It's a little sad. We're in season 2 and they're still going like, yeah, it's all over. We want nothing to do with our powers.
At least Prue, she kind of has a reason in this episode.
Prue has a reason, but, just because of what happens later in the series,
they stop giving them real story reasons for it. Prue is pretty traumatized because of Andy's death. So throughout this episode, she is hesitating. She doesn't really want to do the witch stuff. She's pretty scared. Some PTSD going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the next day, the sun rises on the Book of Shadows, which begins to open on its own. And apparently Phoebe hears this, like just the pages flapping. Like, how did she hears 2 seconds later, like, what's going on? Hey, Piper Prue, come in here.
Little super ears Phoebe.
She does. Later in the episode, she hears Kit meowing softly next door.
Yeah. Can't go anything past the old Phoebe ears.
Yeah, one of her charm powers, I guess, super hearing.
If she had her super hearing, she should have heard Piper making out with someone when she entered the house, and she wouldn't have said,
Hey, witchy sisters! What are those icky smacking noises going on in there?
Yeah.
You hear someone talking about loans?
Tell me how much money you'll loan me again.
Oh, vagina dentata! Don't worry about it, it's normal.
So anyway, so she's called her sisters in. They go over to the Book of Shadows to see where it's landed. The page says, the rite of passage. Fight it with the power of one, or else. This is stupid. I really don't know what this stupid warning's about. Like, the power of one, spoiler, is the power of 3. So why does it say it this way?
Yeah, I don't know. It's garbage.
Why does it gotta be cryptic for no reason?
Yeah, just like Grandma Ghost.
Stupid Grandma Ghost. We'll get to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when a goofy-looking demon guy with huge horns appears in a vortex to knock over some empty boxes in their attic.
Ooh, I'm a demon!
Yeah.
I've been around 10,000 years! Just don't spin me, I'll blow up!
They call him the scariest-looking demon they've ever faced. Like, excuse me? I don't think that's true. But he's not their greatest enemy, Barbas.
No!
No! I feel like Barbas went out like more of a bitch than Abraxas did, but...
But the Barbas came back the very next day.
Yeah. So anyway, I do love when his vortex appears. There's just a series of empty boxes in front of him to go like blow away.
Yeah.
Then he sort of like just shrieks at them like a T-Rex, like, ah!
Yeah. He makes some weird noises.
And then he sucks the Book of Shadows into the vortex.
Mine. Like, oh, what do we do? I guess it's his now.
There's like this note on the IMDb trivia for this episide that seems to think
say he left a note.
He left a note. And he's like, suckers!
I owe you one Book of Shadows.
One Book of Shadows. In the IMDb trivia, it says that it's kind of a goof that he's able to handle the Book of Shadows when evil people aren't supposed to be able to handle it. But I don't think he does. I think he's always just levitating it in front of him and just using like telekinesis. So I guess you could do a loophole. I don't know.
Not touching it. Look at this. I got it with my telekinesis.
It feels like other creatures could have used this as a loophole.
Yeah, if I don't know if maybe telekinesis it, then other things should have been able to.
Yeah, maybe someone tried to at one point and then it hurt them. I don't know. No, I don't remember enough.
They weren't as good as Abraxas. 10,000 years.
Apparently, the mythology of Abraxas is some sort of deity or something, but sometimes he's seen as kind of demonic. I don't know. I didn't look into it that much.
A little bit demonic.
But in this, he's just a demon. So, Prue tries to stop him while he's doing this, but she hesitates. Then we go to the opening credits, and then Phoebe is knocking on the wall like an idiot. How demon discipline! disappear? Maybe he inside wall?
Phoebe, you idiot.
She's actually, the sad part is that she's not really
inside the computer.
The sad thing is she's not really wrong by the end, though. He's kind of in the wall.
He was in a different dimension, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they used the wall to summon the astral plane or whatever.
Sure.
Anyway, Phoebe is like, well, I think that he ran away. He just got away, bitch. But anyway, she's like, I think he ran away because he didn't want to fight Prue. She's got to be the power of one that thing was talking about because she's got the most useful power. They're like, yeah, we're fucking idiots, but Prue can do stuff.
She freezes too when the book's getting stolen. That's because she's like still traumatized. Is that?
Yeah. This was before Piper got the explodey powers, which made her the most useful and annoying, because that was just her makes it easy power.
Get out of the situation free card power.
Yeah. And then Phoebe says, without the Book of Shadows, they aren't the charmed ones anymore. Like, excuse me? That's not true. And then we learn later in the series, everyone has a Book of Shadows, apparently. It's just where, like, families of witches write down spells or whatever, but...
or
like,
put embarrassing dating tips.
Yeah. And then, like, she's like, yeah, we won't be the charmed ones anymore if we don't have the Book of Shadows, but later, they're like,
good thing we didn't throw this away.
So, apparently they didn't care about it that fucking much.
No. I guess it's nice at this point they care about it.
Oh, yeah, they care about it a little bit. This is when the doorbell rings, and here comes the first appearance of everyone's favorite main character, Neighbor Jenny.
Whoa!
Are we having fun yet?
We're halfway done with her.
I know. The one we covered with her was the episode just after this, which has some similar themes to what she does in this episode. Anyway, she comes barging in asking to use the phone. She's like, it's an emergency, I gotta use the phone. The emergency, of course, is that she's being followed by that greasy butt-crack poo flap, Neighbor Dan! The girls react to Neighbor Dan's first appearance with a comical yet insincere simultaneous whoa!
It's embarrassing.
You know it was just for the trailer, too.
Yeah.
Like, they had to have used it in the promo.
Did, like, one of those... Whoa!
They were so astounded by how greasy he is. He's like, just slithering in, leaving a slime trail.
I am Cabral from Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yes, be impressed by me. So Neighbor Jenny's big emergency, she wants to use their phone to call Saudi Arabia? Excuse me? She's awful,
Is that
though, isn't
long
she?
distance?
She's kind of awful, isn't she? The last episode we talked about that she was in, she was like barging in, asking for help with homework, ignoring them, saying it's an emergency, but then wanting to watch TV and all this shit.
Yeah.
Little girl who cried wolf, huh? Like, it's always an emergency, and then it's not.
Girl who barged in.
The girl who barged in. She's trying to call Saudi Arabia because she wants to talk to her mom.
Yeah, she's just there dialing forever. And this is a local copter.
Yeah, and then they waited for like 2 minutes straight while she was dialing. It was really weird.
I don't think this is a local copter.
Well, when they do say that it's Saudi Arabia, like, Neighbor Dan just says, like, sorry, but doesn't, like, excuse me, are you gonna pay this fucking phone bill?
Well, she didn't connect, did she?
I guess she didn't. But no one tries to stop her.
No.
She eventually just gets off the phone because she can't get through.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's trying to talk to her mom because her parents travel around a lot. That's why she's staying with her Uncle Dan. And he explains this whole thing to them and says that they're moving in next door. And they leave, and Phoebe proclaims,
I saw him first.
It's so embarrassing.
She just said, like, mere minutes ago, that without the Book of Shadows, they won't be the charmed ones anymore. And now she's just like,
I'm gonna neighbor down. I'm gonna neighbor down.
Phoebe is really ready for him, too, because she answered the door with no pants on.
Naked woman!
Yeah, who cares if they aren't the charmed ones anymore when Neighbor Dan's around? And then Piper's like, hey, we're dealing with a demon at the moment. She does not really seem as interested in Neighbor Dan, considering the love triangle they put her in. Mm-hmm. But Prue's like, I got work, I gotta go.
I gotta go now. My job needs me.
My job needs me. Phoebe has the gall to lecture Prue about this when 2 seconds ago she was calling first come, first serve on their new neighbor.
She's just like, why aren't you focusing on the important stuff?
I just thought it too, like maybe Prue's so wide-eyed with that stupid Abraxas is in the wall because she's like, the wall, my one weakness.
Oh no! She knew what was coming, but I thought Phoebe was supposed to see the future.
Phoebe doesn't see shit.
This was before all her visions were just about her boyfriends and whatever the fuck.
I'm surprised she wasn't like, oh, I saw that dumb demon trying to kill Prue. I need to make sure that happens because that's how these work, right?
It doesn't seem like her vision's that accurate, though, because she's like, I saw him kill Prue, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, through no intervention by them does he not accomplish
She might as well have not seen that. It didn't make a difference.
It really didn't.
But Piper knows what's up. Prue is focusing on work, because this is the first demon that they've faced since Andy died last episode. So they figure out what's going on with her. Meanwhile, Abraxas, that's the stupid demon guy, the horny demon, he's hanging out in a fart cloud in the astral dimension. He's telekinetically leafing through the Book of Shadows, like... He's got it open on a love spell? That's cute. He's supposed to be undoing like spells that vanquish things, but then he undoes a love spell. Like, what's that about? That didn't do anything.
First things first. Fix Abraxas's love life.
I gotta uncast that love spell because that demon won't leave me alone. Anyway, he says some stuff. I don't know if he's actually speaking backwards or if this is supposed to be some demon language. He does know English because he speaks that later, but maybe he's just bilingual. I don't know.
What was it he said first?
It sounded like he said lard or something.
Lard.
I heard nard also.
Yeah. Another wrestling connection sounded like he's like Triple H. I win the Lard Championship.
It's really funny though. Once he starts speaking English, it's like it's not the voice you would expect. Like he's like,
oh hey guys, it's me, Abraxas.
Please don't vanquish me. Actually,
don't vanquish Abraxas.
I'll give you your book back. Just don't hurt me.
So, I don't know, he says some stuff, the words disappear from the pages, he's undoing some stuff, so...
Control-Zing everything they did.
Yeah. So, while this is going on, I guess Phoebe and Piper have the time to go to the woods and then celebrate the equinox with some random women. Like, they're like, oh, we might not be the charmed ones anymore, but let's go hang out with these Wiccan idiots over here as they get naked by a rock. I think this is important. Piper's really annoyed, and she's like, what are we doing here? And, like, I guess she didn't ask before now what they were doing?
Yeah, they should have had, like, some of the other witches be useful instead of, just the ho-ho joke they get naked in the woods crap.
Yeah, it just abruptly ends. It really feels like there was supposed to be more to this story than there was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they cut things for time, or they're just like, let's go a different direction. I don't know.
Like, when Phoebe and Piper get naked, there's a convenient rock in front of them.
That's the Wiccan rock or whatever that they hang around later where they get rid of Abraxas. Anyway, Piper's like, this whole thing's a crock. It's not real magic, like throwing your hands out in the air and making a freeze frame.
This whole thing's a crock. Look at that woman behind us. She's clearly wearing a bra.
Yeah, you can see multiple, like, bras or pasties. I don't think the widescreen helped also with hiding this. But yeah, she's like, this is a crock. And this is when Stevie shows up. That's Phoebe's witch friend from the bookstore. Again, I don't know what the point of Stevie was. They make it seem like she's kind of important, at least for this episode.
Yeah.
And then she disappears after the scene, never to be seen again.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's something meant to go on with this.
Yeah, so Phoebe goes up to her and she's like, actually, we're not here for the equinox stuff, even though it seemed like they were, because she said they were there to celebrate the equinox when Piper asked, but then she's like, no, we're not. We're here to talk to you, Stevie. And then Stevie tells them that the other ladies there aren't witches, they're just believers, which I don't know. What is that about?
Yeah, what?
And then she asks Piper if she's also a witch, even though Phoebe told her they were witches in the scene that Phoebe was telling them about at the bookstore. And then Stevie congratulates them on their witch anniversary, which she found out about when Phoebe told her that her and her sisters were witches in said bookstore scene that she referred to.
It all makes sense.
So what's going on here? But then Stevie has a whole lot to say over some flute music, so you know it's really meaningful.
Yeah.
She's like, your anniversary being on the equinox means that your powers will be even stronger. And that explains how you can...
Even lazier.
Even lazier. That's how you get rid of Abraxas later. And I guess that's what Phoebe wanted to ask her about. Hey, what'd you mean by we were going to be stronger in the equinox? And she said, on the equinox, you'll be stronger. Thanks for telling us. And so she's like, all right, so you can tap into this by connecting. This is a clue that they have for the rest of the episode. And she's like, well, in order to do that, we got to do some hippy-dippy Wiccan ritual, and that means everyone gets naked.
Naked woman!
And then she walks away. She goes, let us begin, walks away from the episode. Never seen again. Not even with all the naked chicks. She just wanders out of the woods.
Walks off a cliff.
Just incredible Hulk style. Just doo-doo. So Phoebe is like, hey, you gotta come over here and get naked with me, Piper. So they hide behind the rock and get naked. And then we see some like legs that are definitely not them as their dresses fall. Piper complains. And this is when Phoebe hears someone who sounds suspiciously like Grandma Ghost, whispering in her ear about the power of 3.
Thanks, Grams.
I feel like it's kind of spoiled that she's going to show up in this episode, because immediately after the opening titles, you see starring Jennifer Rhodes. So when Phoebe hears this, she's like, Grams? And then Piper's like, Grams! And like covers her boobs. She's like, I don't want Grandma Ghost to see none of this.
Oh my goodness!
Meanwhile, at Buckland's, Prue is speaking with a woman who is auctioning off her husband's things. This is a pretty decent scene. They're like discussing loss. Prue is kind of working through her issues with losing Andy. Got nothing else to say about that.
Sure.
Anyway, so meanwhile, the naked thing's done, I guess. That's over. We never see any of these Wiccan chicks again. We don't see Stevie again. We do see The Rock again, though.
At least The Rock came back to lay down the smack.
Do you know what The Rock's cooking? Or do you smell what The Rock's cooking? Do you know what The Rock's cooking?
Not really.
That's like one of those shirts with the wrong quotes on them. Do you know what The Rock is cooking? Anyway, time for that sex loan story to come back. So Lone Guy is at what will become P3. It's some other shutdown club at the moment. And his hair's looking extra feathered today. They like feathered up his hair. And he's talking to Piper about this loan. And Piper is like, well, running a restaurant is very similar to running a club. If you ignore the huge differences, I guess. Yeah. And then Lone Guy is like, hey, you're cool. Haha. Anyway, why do you want to put yourself up in a position to fail? Hey, why are you such a failure, huh? He's worried because he's like, this is a risky business, opening up a club. And Piper says, this is truly extraordinary that she tries to present this as a truth. She says it's less risky and expensive than starting a restaurant, which is what she really wants to do. That cannot possibly be true. Opening a club cannot possibly be less expensive or risky than opening a restaurant.
There's so much crap you have to deal with that. You know, a bunch of drunks and stuff.
Yeah, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with liquor licenses. If you're going to serve food, you're basically dealing with the same sort of certifications that you need for opening a restaurant. You got more people. You got to book bands. You got to worry about fire hazard safety. Like, there's all sorts of things that you have to do, especially in a fixer-upper like this. So it just feels like this is nonsense, what she's saying. And then Lone Guy, he says, like, at the risk of her never wanting to go out with him again, he's going to give her the loan. So why would she not want to go out with him again after getting the loan unless he's confirming that this was a sexual exchange?
Yeah.
Anyway, she makes out with him in appreciation.
I got the loan. Time to do
Meanwhile, best scene of the episode, Abraxas summons Jeremy, Destroyer of Worlds!
Yay!
Yay!
Everyone was waiting for the return of Jeremy.
The return of Jeremy. Jeremy was the warlock they fought in the pilot and unaired pilot, the one that they cursed to have rose thorns come out of him and then exploded him with the power of 3. He wore a comfy sweater through the whole thing. I think he called them bitch a lot. But he was the true bitch because they vanquished him. But now he's back.
Whoa, it's going to take chanting again to kill him.
I know, it's so easy to get rid of him. And so basically Abraxas is bringing back, going backwards through the Book of Shadows for some reason, bringing back the demons, warlocks, whatever that they vanquished for some reason, I guess, because that's just the thing he does.
They'll bring back their greatest hits on the show.
Yeah, Jeremy. Who was looking forward to seeing Jeremy again? The actor that plays him, I just want to mention, he was in an episode of Baywatch Nights. He was a mobster, and he got killed, like, in the same scene that he was introduced in.
So much like this episode.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Well, my work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
So this is when the Abraxas, he speaks English for the first time. That's when you hear his surprisingly nasally and weenie-ish voice. And he's like, yeah, I'm bringing back folks. The Charmed Ones vanished. Give them a second chance. Go on and kill them.
I'm bringing them back, if that's okay.
Is it okay if I bring you back?
Jeremy's like, no!
So Jeremy, he runs off to interrupt Piper's makeout session. Actually, before that happens, she hears Grandma Ghost really killing the vibe there.
I'm watching.
What the fuck? Get out of here. Don't make out with men. Men are to be used and washed and put in a drawer and baked in a stew. That's when Jeremy smacks Lone Guy, knocking him out, knocks him across the room, and then Piper easily freezes him, like, Brr. Yeah, it got a lot easier since we fought you.
So she calls her sisters up so that they can do the power of 3 over the phone. When she's like,
oh yeah, I'm gonna put Phoebe on the line.
And then Phoebe immediately, we don't even see her picking up the phone, she just cut to her and she goes,
AT&T, AT&T, power of 3.
Yeah, weird.
AT&T.
Like, did she call her first and we didn't see that? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. The editing was a little choppy there.
And it's really dumb how nonchalant she is about it. First, it's like, oh yeah, I guess she's about to get killed. Maybe we should care here.
Yeah. So, Piper says, this is one of the most ludicrous parts of the episode. She's like, since we don't have the Book of Shadows, we're just going to have to remember the spell that we used against Jeremy, which was the power of 3. This is the first time they used the power of 3. And then Prue points out, isn't it just the power of 3 will set us free over and over again? Like, how the fuck could they forget that one? That's their most basic, easy spell that they use all the time. And they could not remember that.
Yeah, wow.
Why?
And it just easily explodes at Jeremy.
It's not like they ever had to go to the power or to the Book of Shadows to read the power of 3 spell after that. It was easy to remember because it was one sentence over and over again. But anyway, they were like, oh, Grandma Ghost was whispering to us. I think that she was saying power of 3 to remind us of that. Because apparently Grandma Ghost knew that they were hit on the head with bricks and forgot the most basic and overused spell in their arsenal. So Jeremy starts to break out of the freeze. That's when they vanquish him over the speakerphone. Like, didn't even have to show up in person. And then he, like, kind of shakes his hands in the air a bit before exploding. Like,
yeah, goes out like a real dork.
Yeah, looks pretty lame. And now Lone Guy is being taken away on a gurney? Like, he was that injured from that hit?
It's the power of Jeremy.
Jeremy, destroyer of lone guys. This is when Prue slinks in past him being taken out, and then she kind of smirks at him.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, a weird long stare.
And then they have to like ADR in going like him going like, "Hey, how you doing?" Because it was weird that she would do that.
I love the delivery of that because it's some of those awkward things like, "Why are you staring at it? Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, because before he was pretty upset, like indicating that he's probably not going to give Piper the loan now because it seems kind of dangerous around here. Yeah. But then like he sees Prue and then like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like it's completely different to the tone of the previous lines he had.
Like Piper tries to sell him on the fact like this isn't a bad crime area after this just happened. Like I think that ship has sailed. Piper, you can't say this is a nice part of town when he just randomly got attacked by someone.
While he's on the gurney, she starts unzipping his pants.
We can still make this work.
Give you a loan job.
Yeah, Prue comes over to her, and then Piper's like,
I might not get that loan now.
Priorities.
So, this is when she tells Prue about Grandma Ghost whispering at her and Phoebe, and then Prue, she gives her this look like she's trying to make her explode with her mind. I don't think that was supposed to be the tone of the scene, just Shannen Doherty looks pissed for some reason. She does that earlier, too, when she's talking to the widow at Buckland's. She kind of has that look on her face like she hates her, and I don't know why.
Well, you met her.
So, at the house, Phoebe and her chunky sandals are checking through a bunch of Wiccan books. I guess she got that from Stevie's bookstore. And she's also using the internet.
Whoa, inside the computer.
This is when she somehow hears Kit meowing softly outside while in neighbor Jenny's arms. Somehow she hears this. So she walks over to neighbor Jenny and then makes a Kit Kat joke. Yeah. And neighbor Jenny is not impressed.
Yeah, it's the best Jenny moment. I'm going to say this.
Yeah, Phoebe, try drawing sperm with a smiley face on it next time. If you want to impress her. That's what happens in the very next episode. They have 2 episodes in a row where she sits on the steps with neighbor Jenny and then has talks about, like, sex things, basically.
Yeah.
So neighbor Jenny, she's really bummed out because her parents are moving around. She's stuck with that greasy butt crack poop flap. And then keeping consistent with neighbor Jenny's focus on reproduction for some reason, she mentions that it's almost that time of month. And she's like, can you get me some tampons?
Dipshit doesn't know how to buy tampons.
It's like, I don't know what... I guess they didn't know what they were going to do with this storyline either, because that's why they wrote Jenny out after, like, 4 episodes. But it's like, 2 of her episodes is just her and Phoebe have, like, girl talks. Like, she's a dumb little kid who needs to know about the world, even though she does know about these things.
I have to assume she was going to be a witch.
Yeah, I think the idea was probably it was going to be a younger witch that they taught about stuff, like less experienced or something.
Kind of like Billy, but maybe not done as horribly by the time season 8 rolled around.
Yeah.
At least their relationship with her wouldn't have been as toxic as there was with Billy.
Yeah, there could have been something to that, you know, like she grows up and learns about magic alongside them, and then she can become more powerful as she grows up or something.
She could have been the one to kill Dan.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. They said that they didn't really know what to do with her, so that's what they wrote her out. It may be they were thinking about stuff like that. It could also be because, honestly, I don't really think the actress is that good, to be honest. Like, I don't want to dunk on a little kid, but it's not strong. But anyway, isn't it great that she can have these girl talks with Phoebe? Why was this happening? But then Phoebe gets distracted. She sees the charmed symbol, that triquetra on Kit's collar, and then she remembers the thing Stevie said about, like, connection or something, and apparently this means something. And then she's like, but the connection. And then Jenny says, but what? As if she's completely stoned. But Phoebe sees Piper coming home. So she tells neighbor Jenny to get her own tampons. We're trying to get tampons off us.
Get your own tampons.
She tries to blow her up, but it doesn't work. It's not her power.
Piper, come blow her up. I don't have that yet.
Well, Phoebe has a new idea. She says, the spirit board helped us find the Book of Shadows, like in the pilot or something, so why don't we use it to find the Book of Shadows again? And we can connect as the power of 3. That's what the connection is, power of 3, because it took them that long to figure out to use the power of 3 on something, even though they always use the power of 3. And she's like, then we can tap into the equinox or something. I don't know. They ramble on about a bunch of bullshit that just wastes time.
If they're more powerful during the equinox, why did Abraxas choose this time to strike? What an idiot.
Maybe he didn't know about it.
He didn't know.
He didn't hear about it in the astral plane, you know. He was busy, I don't know, reading love spells or something.
Found it in the Book of Shadows. Like, oh, oops.
Also, them being more powerful doesn't really seem to factor into much because we don't see, like, Abraxas doing anything that powerful. He summons people that were vanquished before, but we've seen that before, and then he gets killed immediately, so it doesn't really seem like that strong of a villain, and they're just doing the power of 3 spells and shit, so it doesn't really seem like they're doing anything different than normal.
They definitely could have done something bigger with someone getting a hold of the Book of Shadows like this. It should have felt like a bigger deal than it was.
Yeah. They should have shown, like, I don't know, someone getting hurt or something to show that he's powerful, and also to, like, reinforce the Prue storyline that she's worried about losing someone again because this is someone that could kill them.
Yeah, it should have been like Piper who was really hurt during that earlier scene instead of the lone officer, which they just smirk about.
Yeah, they don't have Makes It Easy Leo around to, like, heal them, so they could get, like, minorly injured, you know, something.
Yeah, at least put it in real danger.
Yeah. But anyway, this is when Grandma Ghost, she helps them out by using the spirit board to spell the name Abraxas. That's how they figure out who it is, because they read about him in some of these Wiccan books. Doesn't seem like the Book of Shadows is that important. Or that they're not the charmed ones without it. Weird, huh?
They're not the very bright ones, though, because they forgot the power of 3 will set us free.
Yeah.
The power of 3, fiddle-dee-dee, will set us free.
Yeah.
Fiddle-dee-dee, set us free.
It probably would work.
Yeah. They could just, by the time they got to the end of the series, they could just go like, kill him. And then,
Bill him, kill him. Oh!
Abracadabra, hell will have ya.
As they continue whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that interrupted my manicure.
So, Abraxas is a guy who lives on the astral plane. He hunts witches. You get the idea.
He's on a higher plane, man.
Yeah, man. Let's get naked by a rock.
Yeah. Talk to Abraxas. On second hand, let's not talk to Abraxas.
He's a silly man. But anyway, this is when the Woogie Man shows up. This is another past demon that they vanquished. He lived like in the Nexus in their basement or something. This was a story that was important for Phoebe because she had like a fear of it, so she had to like deal with her fears in that episode.
All right.
This seems like another wasted opportunity because they immediately vanquish the Woogie Man. It's like pathetically short. And like,
if you're going to bring back these past things, have more impact with them.
Yeah, have more impact. And also, you could have Phoebe really scared. And again, like, Prue sees this, and then this reinforces her fears that these things are all going to catch up to them. They're going to die. Other people are going to die. Phoebe could die.
Yeah, like Piper should have been in real danger in the Jeremy scene. Then you put Phoebe in real danger with the Woogie Man scene.
Yeah, they were both demons, warlocks, whatever, that connected to them. So these could have been far more personal stories than they were. You could barely tell that this was a big deal for either of them.
No.
Like, they react in fear, but it doesn't seem like this was something so crippling for them, especially Phoebe.
They're kind of minorly annoyed, really. They're like, oh no!
Oh no!
Fiddle-dee-dee, go away.
Fiddle-dee-dee, get the Woogie Man away from me! So anyway, they go to call Prue to warn her about this stuff, but as Phoebe is reaching for the phone, for some reason she grabs a photo of them.
Right.
There's no reason for her to grab this photo other than she gets a vision off of it. So she sees some warlock foot from a past episode. His name's Nicholas.
His name's Mr. Recast.
Yeah, they recast him because they couldn't get the actor back. I do not recall this episode, but he's a warlock foot. And he kills Prue in this vision, according to Phoebe. But then, when we go to Prue, she's at the auction house, and she ignores the phone call, and the warlock shows up, and it attacks her, but she vanquishes him without any intervention from the other two.
No.
And then she doesn't die.
Yeah.
So why did Phoebe have a vision of her dying?
Phoebe had to make it come true, and she screwed up.
I could have had Paige earlier, and then we could have gotten rid of Prue, who holds me accountable for things.
Yeah. Could have had doormat Paige. Damn it.
I really think they needed Shannen Doherty to kind of like put Alyssa Milano in her place to keep Phoebe like tempered a bit.
Definitely did.
Do something, do it!
But anyway, yeah, I did like when the warlock guy shows up at the auction house. He just starts shoving people. Like, yeah. And then no one wonders why that guy who was shoving people disappeared as soon as he went into like Shannen Doherty's office. And then, like, Prue is like half dead on the floor because she got injured by this, but not dead.
I liked how Prue blew off Phoebe's call.
Yeah,
It's always important, whatever.
like, they get attacked by demons and warlocks and whatever on a regular basis, but she's like, whatever.
Yeah, but like, how many times do you think Phoebe calls Prue over fucking nothing?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
It's probably so often, it's hard to tell when it's actually an emergency, because she is the witch who cried wolf.
She just calls her to go like, I just had sex. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. Look, some of us gotta work
I just
around
stubbed
here.
my toe. I don't think I'm gonna make. Oh, shut up! I'm working.
She's the only one of them that has a job, okay? The rest of her sisters are sitting around being useless sluts. I don't even know if, like, Phoebe was going to school at the time, even. She's just, leeching off her sisters.
Meanwhile, Piper's like, I know it's a great idea. I want to run a restaurant, but instead I'll run a club. Right, Prue? Good idea?
Prue does encourage her. She's like, well, you should do it because I used to come to this club, so it seems like a good financial decision.
I just want to come in and get free drinks.
Yeah, as soon as she
helps me deal with you two.
As soon as she takes out that $60,000 loan at the end of the episode, she's like, what if I became a photographer and cut my income in half so I make this even worse? But anyway, so they're at the hospital. Prue's okay, and Phoebe theorizes that her stupid wall thing was right, and maybe the Book of Shadows is still in the house, just on the astral plane in that kind of wall area. And she's like, well, we gotta fix this before Abraxas gets to the first page of the book. They're like, he's reading it backwards, and that's how he's turning the spells evil or something?
Well, so what they encountered was, like, chronological in the book? Like,
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
What was Jeremy under in the book? Just Jeremy? A page on Jeremy?
It couldn't have been the first page, like one of the first pages, the Jeremy page.
Well, they were reading the book backwards, but I don't know why Jeremy would be at the end, because he was in the pilot with them.
Yeah, so he'd be he's reading from the beginning then backwards.
But if he was reading from the beginning, then he would read the Power of 3 spell first, which is what they're worried about.
He'd read a bunch of things. You're like, the book would not be structured with the first thing these charmed ones encountered.
Yeah.
Why would that be in the front of the book?
Yeah, and it's plot important that once he reads the Power of 3 spell and undoes it, they won't have their powers and they won't be witches anymore. But why is that last? They say it's last.
Why?
But they don't encounter any of the other things they fought in that last season other than like 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. And if Abraxas got the book with the intent of doing this, he could do that first. Like, oh no, well, I gotta
Well, he has to read it backwards to be evil or something. That's what they say.
His order doesn't make any sense anyway.
Yeah, I don't understand this order at all, actually. So they're like, yeah, we gotta get rid of him before he undoes our powers. And then Prue's like, wait a minute, if we don't have our powers, then we get to live normal lives. And that seems pretty cool. Not being witches anymore. Even like Piper's like, yeah, but he could still like try to kill us when we don't have powers and stuff. Like,
yeah.
And then, so Prue dips out, and then Phoebe is gonna follow her, but then Piper's like,
just wait for Prue to die, then I'll be the one focused on normal lives all the time.
So later that night, Phoebe is worried about them losing their powers, and Piper is worried about them being out of wine. No one has any priorities in this episode. But luckily, that's when neighbor Dan shows up with a bottle of
wine.
Yeah, he has a bottle of wine to thank Phoebe for her tampon talk with neighbor Jenny.
He says, I never drink wine.
I never drink wine. Slicks his hair back.
And then they stake him immediately. Fiddle-dee-dee, eat the steak.
I thought the wine looked like blood. The tampons? No.
Yes, they stake him with a tampon.
And we didn't need the Book of Shadows for that.
While all of this is going on, Piper finds out that her loan was denied. I guess that's more important than any of this.
And fuck that guy.
Yeah, she says, thank God I never slept with that guy. Lie. She definitely slept with him. Don't even. But when she finds out that her loan was denied, Phoebe comes in and she says, I'm so sorry. Like, someone just died. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's other things going on right now.
I gotta call Prue at work to Prue, it's emergency. And this is why Prue doesn't answer your calls.
Prue is off having an actually good scene, okay? She goes to talk to Daryl, and I think this is like Daryl's best scene ever on the show. Because this is he's solo now. Like Andy was his partner, and Prue is talking to Daryl about losing Andy, and they've all these like little moments. Like she sees his desk, and they haven't assigned Daryl a new partner yet. She's talking.
Daryl has a very somber. Oh man.
Yeah, Daryl even says, like, you're not the only one who lost him. I lost him, too. And I feel like this is one of the few times the show really takes into account, like, his feelings or his perspective on the show. Because so much is just, like, comedy, and then they treat him like shit and then kick him out of the room or whatever.
Yeah, they should have given him more scenes like this.
And I feel like this was pretty good acting from Dorian Gregory, too. Sometimes he can be kind of crunchy, but I thought he was pretty good in this scene. He had, like, emotions, and I think in season 1 he did not. So he's like, well, Prue wants to know if Daryl knows about them being witches, what Andy told him. Otherwise, she's got to kill him,
Yeah.
But Daryl says...
the tampon steak.
Oh, man! Yeah, and then, like, so Daryl's like, yeah, he just said that you were involved with some stuff, but he didn't say what, so that's why I helped cover up your involvement with his death, because he said that whatever happens to me is not their fault. Don't worry about it. And she's like, well, you didn't ask about it? He's like, I didn't need to know. I don't want to know.
I didn't need to know. I didn't need to know.
Didn't need to know.
Because his strongest character trait, not needing to know.
But yeah, they have a hug, they have a cry. Poor Daryl doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't know what the future holds for him on this show.
That's the worst thing that's gonna happen to me.
Cut to death row. Oh, man!
And then killing him.
Then kill him and his ghost. Oh. So anyway, Prue's like, all right, I think I'm ready to help my sisters with this Abraxas thing. They're at the house in the attic. They're drawing the triquetra onto the wall, and they're going to open up the astral plane. When they do that, Prue hesitates again, and then they get flung into more crap in their attic. So Piper and Phoebe, they're bitching at Prue. They're like, you gotta face your problems. We gotta have a real scene of like an emotional breakdown. You get those tears out, Missy. Get those tears out.
Right, let's go get naked in the woods.
Let's get naked in the woods. But again, this is a really good scene. Prue has a breakdown about this. She's like, if I couldn't save Andy, how am I supposed to save anyone else? Like, it's too much responsibility. She doesn't want to lose anyone.
Yeah.
Death actually mattered this time.
Yeah, it's nice when you see characters in the show caring.
Yeah. I hope they don't undo this whole death being permanent thing by having Grandma Ghost show up at the end of the episode. But it's pretty good acting, and I think from all of them, and they kind of, have a cry about it, and this is when Grandma Ghost barges in again with more whispers. Like,
men suck.
Thanks, that's not applicable to the current situation, Grandma.
Shut up. I'm gonna go kill a man real quick.
This is how they figure out that the power of one was actually them working together as one, so it was actually the power of three. Makes sense. Just write it as the power of three. It doesn't need to be a riddle. I'm pretty sure they've used the power of one as like something else later. At least in the comics, I know like Phoebe used like power of one or something. Anyway, it's inconsistent.
The power of dumb.
Yep. So they're like, well, we already tried the wall here, so let's surprise Abraxas by opening up the astral plane somewhere else, and I guess he'll just be there. So we're gonna go to that rock in the woods. This is just as Abraxas is about to erase their powers. He's at that page, but as they start the spell, it starts flapping the book around and mildly inconveniencing him. Like he's like, oh, it just starts turning the pages back. Like, come on,
deal with this.
I gotta erase their powers.
But then it disappears. It gets sucked out of like, no. So then he pops out of the astral plane to see what's up. Like, what's going on out there?
Why did you take the book away from me?
And then they vanquish him very easily, causing him to like spin in a circle a bit.
I love that it makes him spin. No, I'm dizzy, you guys.
And he like vanishes into a triquetra as if that means anything. Wow, pretty scary.
Ouch.
Oh,
my glasses.
For some reason, they stuff him in a locker. For some reason during the scene, I don't know if you noticed this. So when Prue was up in the attic having that talk with him or whatever, like she was in like a black dress and like a black sleeves. She was wearing this through earlier in the episode. Mm-hmm. And then before they go to the woods, the other two are wearing the same outfits, but Prue has changed outfits into a pink shirt with like a rip in the shoulder that's never explained.
We're gonna go beat up Abraxas quick. I need to change first.
The rip in the shoulder is pretty prominent, so it makes me feel like something was cut out. I don't know why she changed outfits to begin with. Maybe because they're like, we want to rip this outfit but not the other one. But
yeah, it's
maybe
weird.
There was a fight or something.
They reshot a scene, like maybe her shirt got ripped before in a other version of a scene, and that was continuity from it, but they changed her outfit and that didn't happen in that one. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes me wonder if there was a conclusion to the thing with Stevie or the Wiccan ladies, or if there was just another fight in between, perhaps.
You think they were evil?
Yeah, maybe they were evil. Maybe Stevie was evil and she planted all this stuff in their mind to do something. I have no idea what would have happened, but it feels like something happened that maybe they shot the scene first and they decided they want her in a different outfit, but I don't know when her sleeve got ripped. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's also a very cold day for Prue. Very nipply in this scene. I don't know why she's not wearing a bra. Like, it's like a long sleeve knit shirt.
Because she just has fake bra straps sewn onto her.
Yeah. But anyway, they go back to the attic, and the girls decide that they like being witches. Maybe they'll stick with it for a while. And Piper's like, yeah, but I don't like that it doesn't pay the bills. But, Phoebe and Prue have taken out a loan on the house that'll put them in debt for Piper's stupid club she doesn't want to open. Hooray!
They also stole Abraxas's lunch money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a good 50 cents off him.
No! Not to be outdone, this is when Grandma Ghost appears by the Book of Shadows to overstay her welcome. The beginning of the end.
Unwelcome.
This is their reveal that she was the one turning the pages of the Book of Shadows all last season, because sometimes it would turn to the correct page. Apparently, she couldn't appear to them until
she comes
now.
Smugly. He's like, it's been I who's been manipulating you since the beginning.
No, and they vanquish her.
Yeah.
Well, she won't be turning the pages anymore. She's not going to do that after this episode. They're just going to have to do it themselves.
Go away.
She has this weird speech where she's just like, the fact you can see me now means blee 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 blee, and I don't expect you to understand this, but blee blee blee. And it's like, none of this makes any sense. None of this. What is she talking about?
I don't expect me to understand.
Because this is nothing that we do later. I just show up and won't leave.
Yeah.
Anyway, she disappears with like a knowing smirk, like she did fucking anything. And then,
but you didn't do anything, didn't I?
Yeah, all she did was say power of 3 over and over again, and then they're like, oh yeah, use the power of 3!
Yeah, and spy on them during awkward situations.
Yeah. Oh, and then she wrote happy anniversary in the book for them, wasting precious page space for Sears photos.
What if that gets reversed? Oh man, be a not happy anniversary.
Oh no, an unhappy anniversary. That's the end of the episode. And on a big fart with Grandma Ghost. What are your final thoughts on the episode, Phelan?
It's better than Later Charmed, of course, but yeah, it's got some roughness to it and a bunch of plot threads that seem to go nowhere. So should have been done better.
Yeah, it feels a little incomplete, like a little bit of a lost opportunity, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I like there's some real scenes about caring and, trying.
Yeah, I feel like Prue especially had a really good storyline through this episode, and I feel like there were some good scenes and good acting, a lot of things that were introduced that went ultimately nowhere in the season, but
but Abraxas should have felt like more of a real threat if you're going to have him steal the book.
Yeah, they do introduce a lot of things that they don't really pay off on. Mm-hmm. But it was all right. It was during the good seasons.
It's okay.
So, Phelan, do you have a Margoyle or a Carman?
Margoyle's going to go to Grandma Ghost partly because of how the series goes later. But It's so stupid when you see, she's doing all these stupid subtle things. I flipped your pages in your book and I come and spy on you when you're naked or making out with someone. And then later she can just be like, I walked outside the candles. I'm corporeal. Get me a beer.
I'm a hippie. If my husband died, I stayed a hippie forever.
Seems like I should have been younger, but now older, whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid grandma goes, I'm going to give a mention to Abraxas because his plan was stupid. He could have just got to the point if he's like, I stole the book, but I have to read from this one arbitrary point I picked out, which is Jeremy. I can't start at undoing the power of 3. No, I need to do Jeremy first.
I think he thought Jeremy would kill him and he wouldn't have to worry about it. He really overestimated the power of Jeremy, destroyer of worlds.
Power of Jeremy did not set him free. Carman's gonna go to the loan officer for that one line of, hey, how you doing?
Really?
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. Weird, awkward exchange. Like, why are you staring at me? Hey, how you doing?
Well, my Margoyle is gonna be Jeremy. Because he went out like a bitch again. Pretty lame.
Yeah.
And Carman's gonna be Prue. I thought she came out on top in this episode. So yeah, that's it. Anything else to say?
No.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're enjoying it. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are listened to. You can also watch us on YouTube under youtube.com/movie nights the series and youtube.com/Phelan. You can support the show on Patreon. See episodes ahead of time, or you can vote for Charmed Rewinds, or what have you. My Patreon is patreon.com/movie nights. Phelan's is patreon.com/Phelan. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing the podcast for us and for the amazing theme song. You can listen to his podcast, where he talks about Twilight Zone with his wife, at themonstersaredupodcast.com. What hashtags should we use, Phelan?
Hashtag tampon steak.
Hashtag Jeremy Destroyer of Worlds. Hashtag fiddle-dee-dee, the power of Jeremy will set us free. I think we're gonna stake the claim on that hashtag. I don't think anyone else is gonna be using it. All right, well, I think that's it for now, Charmanders. We'll see you next time.